He tough. He's tough.
Kush? Oh, yeah.
So, no, this one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so no holds bar.
What crystal do you have?
This is amethyst. Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, you live.
All right. Greetings, my Instagram family, and greetings, my USHA family. I love all y'all. I want to thank, first of all, my Instagram family for going to the website, alchemistasami.net, and purchasing them products. I appreciate that you guys still trust that I'm making the best products that I can. And they always going to be good to help you because they help me. So, thank you. And keep going, because I need y'all support like y'all need mine. It's a symbiotic relationship, so I love y'all. Now let's get back to what we was talking about, being human. I've been thinking about it a lot because, like I discussed with her, I'm gonna write a book on what it is to be human. We are termed human beings. That means that, first of all, we come here in these bodies, which makes us human. But there's the other part of us that's magical, that makes us a magical being. So then, the beginning of this whole thing is about us understanding our humanity. Because in us understanding our humanity, we understand our connection with everything around us. Because we live on this earth. That's what makes us human. But we have forgotten what that means. I mean, for real, we have forgotten what it means to be human. And it's sad because I recall growing up when somebody died of a sickness, man, the whole neighborhood was like, hey, did you hear? So-and-so died of, I don't know what, some kind of disease. That was rare. That was something that was not ordinary. It was not the norm. Now, we lived close to a mosque, and I remember them having funerals at least twice a week. But I know for sure once a week. But most of the time, it was probably twice. We was like, damn, that's a lot of doggone funerals. What happened to us? Our humanity. That's why I want to write this book. What it means to being human. The basics. Because when we think about being human, like I said, we vibrate on the animal vibration when you don't increase your vibration. So if we dealing on the animal vibration, we're not even doing good at that. I mean, for real. We're not doing a good job at just being an animal. Because, I don't know if any of you guys know, big cats, tigers, lions, mountain lions, all them, they read minds. They can read your thoughts. That's why they don't hunt them. No single hunter go out and hunt no tiger. No, he's not going by himself. You know why? Because the tiger can read his mind, and what that tiger is going to do is set up a trap for him further down and wait for him so he can just pounce on him. And the tiger be sitting there waiting, knowing he's coming. What do that say about us? What do that say about our humanity? When we're content with what? What are we content with? Learning a trade, going to school, eating ourselves to death, that's what we content with? When we're supposed to be the highest example of what it means to be an animal, and then advancing even higher than that, allowing our energetic self, our being, to even enhance the senses that we call smelling, tasting, seeing, hearing. Because animals display extreme talent when it comes to what they manifestation is of their expression as an animal is on this earth. And what do that say about us? I've seen where you see it for yourself. You walk by a bird's nest where she got her eggs in a tree, and when you walk by, she's gonna come at you, because for her, it's threatening her young. What are you doing over here? They're gonna swoop all around you. Most animals would give their life to save their young. When we as human beings supposed to be the highest expression of what it means to be an animal, throw our babies in the trash. We teach them garbage. Education is part of our humanity. And we don't educate our young the way they should be educated. We educate our young the way that they tell us that they need to be educated. Nobody has to tell a female lion how to educate her young to hunt. They do not. They teach them the basics of what they are as a lion. A duck get taught the basics of what it is to be a duck. But we as human beings don't get taught the basics of what it means to be a human. We do not get taught that. It's all assumed that we'll know. Ain't nothing to be assumed on any level. Because if we're not taught it, then there's no way we can do it. So we're not taught what it is that our humanity really represents. How in the hell can we be it? We cannot. We can. Go ahead.
Oh, I didn't mean to pause you like that, but so the other day we stopped at. Did we stop at 3?
No, we stopped at 3. It was feelings and emotions, the animal, and that's what I'm continuing on.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm just trying to make sure we all know where we going. So this is part 2. We going on the chat, and then
we gonna
so we on 3 of what it is to be human
and the animal. Because the reason why I felt that way is because when I look at the animal kingdom, when my dogs get sick, they go and find grass to eat, to throw up, whatever it is that made them sick. The monkeys that you hear back there be howling and whooping all early in the morning and late in the evening, they don't have nobody back there helping them to build whatever they building, or to do whatever they doing, or to keep them healthy. They know innately how to do that. Why we don't? Why do we do not know how to innately do what we need to do to sustain ourselves? Why not? Because we have not been taught properly. We've been taught to depend on outward resources. We've been taught that. We've been taught to depend on the outward source for power.
I have a question for the people here. And this is an individual question. Do you trust yourself to heal yourself? Like to say, hey, this is what's wrong with me, and to go figure out how to heal it. Do you trust yourself to do that?
I do not.
You.
I do not.
You. You do now. You do.
So it's 50-50.
So it's 50-50. Well, let's let this is our tiebreaker. Because she got to decide either way. Do you trust yourself to heal yourself? Right now. Where you are right now. Just
I am now. I do now.
You do. So
All right. So
that's pretty good.
Yeah, it really is. Because then we have a majority that say that they trust themselves to heal themselves. Who else should you trust to heal you but you? The monkeys don't trust nobody to heal them. They know they got to do it for themselves. There ain't no what you would call holler monkey hospital up in there. I ain't seen one operating. I be watching. They know what to do. Why? Because their mothers knew what to do, and their mothers knew what to do, and their mothers knew what to do. So then that keeps getting passed down. And what happened to us? Our grandmother, our great-grandmothers, and our ancestors knew what to do. We wasn't even allowed to go to hospitals at one point. So we had to know how to take care of ourselves. And all of a sudden, all of our dependence is on what somebody else say. So then, again, where are we displaying the highest level of being part of this animal kingdom? Are we displaying? I don't see it. We have choices, yes. But our choices have been based on a teaching that has nothing to do with who we are as human beings.
And that's why you are here teaching us what it is to be human, how to be human.
Yes,
So,
well, yes, you know, there's those of us on this planet who have been touched enough by the Spirit to want to share what it is that we come here for in these human bodies, because we have forgotten. That's how powerful the body is. That's why we're talking about being human. We occupy these bodies. These bodies are full of what? Sensory organs. They can sense our environment. And what we get caught up in? We get caught up in, I want to say this, thoughts are energy. What it says about energy? Energy is not destroyed, but we create energy through our thoughts, and that energy goes out, and all that, them thoughts that ever been in this earth is still here in this earth, and they went nowhere. Every single thought, where is it going to go? It's all here. That's why I always say we live in an ocean of thoughts, and yet we relegate ourselves down to this narrow tunnel vision as to how we see life. Would you, somebody go up there and let me know? Thank you. Hey, you know,
the work is working here at USHA.
keep this place beautiful.
Yeah.
So, just pause with me for a minute so we can go and get this guy to.
Yeah, he's up there getting this grass cut, keeping USHA beautiful.
And we appreciate the beauty. And at the same time, he can be over there just making something.
Make beauty somewhere else.
Yes. So, again, our humanness. When we really think about what it is to be this expression of a human being, we are really, I would say, as a whole conglomerate of humanity, is failing miserably. Why will we be failing miserably? Because we have accepted an illusion about what reality is, because we have been taught that what we are living in is reality, and that you have to learn how to make your way in it, which partly is true, because you do have to learn how to make your way in the reality that you are a part of. But at the same time, we're not taught that the reality that we see is not the reality that we can create. We can create a greater and more beautiful reality. And I say that with all my heart, because we're living in an age of the outpouring of knowledge. We are in that age. So there's no excuse for us as a species of human beings to not find out what is the greatest thing that I can do for myself while I'm here on this earth journey. We forget that this is a journey. And it's not a journey for us to be bound or confined to anybody's thoughts or ideas about how we should be. We are here to be free. Free thinkers, free expressionists, free everything. I mean, to come into this earth and to be bound by laws that has nothing to do with your well-being, or the rising of your frequency so that you can understand the higher part of yourself, it does us absolutely no good. None. And they make laws and we abide by them. Why? Because we believe that we're supposed to, because everybody else do.
Well, why? So if we're in society and, you know, we're trying to be the best that we can be in that society, then how do we know that there's something outside of us, inside of us? Well, I mean, how do you know? We just living every day. We haven't been taught. You just said we don't know.
We know because
we're bombarded with false information. So how
right.
do we know? Where
Again,
do we get it
here
from?
we go. We bombarded with false information. Those animals know exactly. All right. When I drove here from Miami, I drove straight through Mexico, through Guatemala, across to the border, and drove to right here from Miami in a Volvo. While I was on that trip, I saw the Huicho Indians that live in Oaxaca, Mexico, and in Guatemala. They do a pilgrimage every year to partake in what they call a peyote ceremony. Peyote is a cactus that's hallucinogenic. I saw them as they was going to meet wherever their pilgrimage was going to start. But this pilgrimage starts with a magical deer coming and guiding them to where the peyote is. A magical deer. How in the hell did that deer become magical? It's an animal just like all the rest of the deer. You see deer everywhere. All the deer you see is not magical. They ingested. Those particular deer that they consider to be a magical deer have ingested peyote. And them ingesting that peyote, because they're an animal, just like us, it moves their, you can say, I'm going to use a term that I'm going to share with people what it is, their assemblage point, where they assemble their world. It's moved. And now there's a whole nother world that's assembled. What does that say about us? When here's a deer, here's a people who's been following the magical deer to find what? A plant, a cactus that's going to do what? Help them to be more of their magical self, to help them become more of their being.
But what you just described was a culture. These people don't just, we don't just wake up and go, oh, I'm about to follow a magical deer. These are people who are in that
as an example to say that,
I understand
to say that all animals, all deer are not magical. They're not. That deer chose a different path. So now, everybody in the world ain't going to become the best human being they can be, even though the opportunity is available. The knowledge is available. Like I say, there's no excuse for nobody who breathes air that call themselves human when all the knowledge that one needs is available. It's at your fingertips. Most of us carry cell phones. All you got to do is da-da-da. And if the information you feel like it's not, that don't seem right, you can keep researching. Knowledge is what gives us power. The lack thereof, me and her was just talking about it today about different societies. We was talking about
Cuba,
Trinidad and Tobago, Cuba, different islands that pride themselves in educating their people. And in their priding themselves in educating their people, whatever they're really doing, they're creating a better environment for themselves. Because the more knowledge that individuals have to work with, the more of their higher self they're going to be able to display. The lack thereof is the very opposite. The more knowledge you lack, the lower your display, until now we have gotten to the point to where we display characteristics that's way below what the average animal displays. Way below. So what did that say about us? We have the ability to not only go to the heights, but we can go to the depths of our own degradation. Look at what we see. Ukraine, they're having wars over there. What wars? We're supposed to be an intelligent understanding and loving people as a human race. And yet we still have wars going on all over this world. And then the people who's creating these wars say they are the most intelligent and that we're supposed to follow them, and they're the ones who give us our textbooks, they're the ones who give us our TV shows, they're the ones who give us everything, and they're supposed to be our example? Why is that? We're supposed to just accept what our mama and our daddy said when we all come in here as free beings to choose? Yes, you can be derailed, but then it's up to us to get back on track. Why? Because we all have the ability to do that. If we didn't have the ability to do that, then we might as well all just be bandits and gangsters and do what the hell ever we want and just commit mayhem and whatever, if there's no consequence behind it. But there is consequences behind each and every one of our acts. Because even as us being part of this animal kingdom, we're conscious of what we are. They're conscious of what they are. The only difference between them and us is that we have choices that we can make that they don't. We can choose to act upon the highest part of ourselves and raise our level of understanding and allow ourselves to be taught. Or we can continue just being straight animals, eating, sleeping, defecating, and just being an animal. Indulging in, and you know, animals have sex for a reason. They have sex to procreate. Because that very act is what was given to bestow the glow of awareness, be it in an animal, be it in a human. Whenever that's done, it's to bestow the glow of awareness. What are we doing as human beings? We got porno with men, women with women, women with animals. Where is there anything that's connected to bestow the glow of awareness? We've forgotten what we are here for. We have forgotten. They have made us numb to being who we are. And when we decide, at whatever point, that hell no, I'm not doing this no more, I have to find something different. That at that point, our life changes. That takes a lot. I tell folks, hey, from the time you are out of the womb until you are 29, that planet Saturn exerts energy on you. It exerts energy on you. That's, nobody can get away with that. Get it from under that. It teaches us the basics of hot, cold, up, down. All those things that we learn, we're being taught. Saturn is pushing that. Then we get to a point to where Saturn no longer is exerting his energy on us to force us to do anything anymore. Then we have the choices. And when we get to that point of choices, that is all relying on what you have learned to that point. If all you have learned was survival of the fittest, what you become is a predator. Why? Because not that you can point and say, oh, he's messed up. It's not that he's messed up. It was that's all he learned. If all you learn to do is to find a way for you to survive in spite of anybody's discomfort or existence, then you become a predator. Lions don't care how a gazelle feel about their young not being able to keep up. It don't care, because for the lion, that's dinner. So gazelles teach their young to keep up.
All right, so we halfway here. Just wanted to ask if you guys had any questions. I even statements, because brother made a statement the other day. It wasn't really a question, and I really appreciated it. So I just wanted to pause, because I know he's a force over there. You're like, I'm gonna just sit here and listen, but no, if you have something to offer, or now's the time.
Go ahead, bro.
So mostly my question is about when you said about the planets that Saturn pulls us. Is it the other planets that pulls us?
Yes, all of them do. The moon, all the way, Venus, Mars, all of them influence us. Remember, bodies, mass, greater mass influence smaller mass. That's why the greatest mass in our solar system is the sun. So it got all the rest of them locked in. They can't go nowhere. Why? Because it got us locked in. So since we're locked into its, what you would call orbit, greater mass exert energy on our planet as well. Just like our planet influences the moon, and as small as that body is, you see what it does to the water levels in our body on this earth. It raises the water level. As the moon gets full, the water level raises in everything. Nothing is exempt. So, yes, they influence us because they're there. And as we begin to understand, most ancient cultures always look to the heavens. That's what those pyramids all have designs in them, where at certain points the sun shines and hits a certain point in there, and they know, okay, it's that time of the year. They understood the movements of those bodies, and they watched them, calculate. That's how we get to the point where we understand that we are in a different age. We're in the age of Aquarius. How did we get here? Because they studied. We as humanity once sought after the highest knowledge we could get to sustain ourselves and be a part of this earth that we are on. Because in truth, we are aliens, man. We inhabit these bodies, but we are not these bodies. So in essence, we are learning how to interact with our environment that we call Earth. And the most beautiful thing about it is that Earth is just a small part of all of what we was a part of creating. But we can't get, if we don't get past this part and understand what our humanity really represents, we're going to keep coming back over and over until you do. So, that's why folks talk about, dying that's it. Consciousness can't die. It's energy. Energy don't die. Energy moves into different phases. And so when these physical vehicles expire, we move on. That which we are, our consciousness, because it's energy. Yet our energy abides in this physical expression now. So knowing that the totality of what we are is the same as this universe, why would we be expressing such low vibrational actions in this environment when it's a choice? It's a choice for everybody, everything. Even trees have to obey the laws that govern this earth. And when they don't, they perish, just like we perish. When we understand what we're here for and what we can accomplish, life becomes a joy for real. I mean, sickness is only part of our dis-ease with our own self. It's our discomfort with ourselves. And we go to somebody outside of ourselves and go, hey man, I don't know what's wrong with me. Please tell me what's wrong with me. That's like one of those monkeys going to ostrich. That's like that monkey coming down and go to that ostrich cage and communicate to that ostrich, I don't know what's wrong with me. Maybe you can help. That ostrich is going to look at that monkey like, I don't even know what you are, let alone how to help you.
So again, this is where we talk about culture, environment, and influences. So the monkey, if this monkey were in a zoo, he would have a totally different perspective of what it was to be a monkey than those wild monkeys.
Oh,
he would be looking for somebody to bring him food. He would understand cage. He would understand a canopy for hopping, for where it can jump around and swing. So these monkeys don't speak the same language. They have totally different experience that mold where they are. So the monkey that's free is like, damn, zoo monkey, what the hell is wrong with you? But the zoo monkey is like, damn, how do I get to be free? I'm over here.
It's like, when are you going to answer?
All right. Again, we talking about an animal that's gotten caged. I mean,
that's what we are.
Right. We're talking about an animal that has a physical cage that can't move from that physical cage to be part of an environment that monkey would thrive in. So, here we are, human beings. And yes, we've been in captivity. There's people who've never been in captivity who all live in the same mental cages. And they've never known slavery or none of that. Yet they still suffer from the same mental cage. And what is that? The cage that society creates to control its society, its people, because people make up societies. So now, here we are, supposed to be, again, the most intelligent beings, and we enslave our very own for the sake of what?
Money.
The idea of control. Because, see, all of it leads to one thing. An idea that I can control everything. That is the most ignorant and the most far-fetched thing that any man can even think. Every man that have rose up to say they wanted to rule the world have been, what happened to them? They get annihilated. Why? Because in their attempt to rule the world, what do? They go and annihilate other people. And our universe is a cyclical universe, right? So, in their attempt to express this ruling of the world, they are annihilating people, which ultimately causes their own annihilation. Again, that's where knowledge comes in. Because without knowledge, where are we? We see. It's displayed all around us. The lack of knowledge is what kills us, diseases us. It does everything adverse for us. Why? Because we lack basic knowledge of being human.
Okay, so see, y'all don't have questions, but I do. Okay, so COVID is a great example for me,
Yes.
right? You saying that we lack knowledge, but that was a bombardment, organized campaigns against humanity to say you need to take the jab. I mean, look at, you couldn't go anywhere. It was in parking lots, at the liquor store, at the daycare center, wherever you went, it was like, take the jab. It say celebrities, politicians, Dr. Fauci. I mean, the bombardment of take the jab, and how safe it was. The airtime that they got to make it like, you know, the average person, and I would say the better than average person, you know, was taking the jab. Why? because of all of that, like that runs you down. We listen to the radio, all of the commercials. Oh, I took the I get. We know statistics and things. We knew that was a new vaccine. We knew that they didn't have time to test it. We knew certain things, but yet the bombardment was like, you know what? I need to be safe. I don't want to infect other people. So what I'm saying is that like people just don't act alone out of this ignorance. This ignorance is compounded.
That's a perfect example of what happens with manifestations of our intent. When you have a group of people who all been influenced with the same intent, that intent has to be manifested. What did they do? They said COVID-19 is a virus that's affecting people. So what did they do? They bombarded people with it so that people start saying it amongst themselves. Hey, you heard about that? COVID-19 is killing folks. COVID-19, COVID-19, COVID-19. That's all you heard. And then the next thing you heard was, we're working on the vaccine. So now everybody's excited about this vaccine, but they have not stopped to even consider that, hey, I don't care nothing about COVID-19. The monkeys back there didn't even know that existed. But because of our collective consciousness, we as a human generated the exact environment that needed to happen to make that exist. And we did that on our own. And that's a good example of how powerful we are as a unit. When we decide something, that decision is manifested. It's just like when a home team goes to play in their hometown and all the people who support that home team come, the predominant energy is for that home team. That's why they always expect the home team to win. Why? Because the home team got all the energy behind them. What is that energy? Our consciousness. It's our consciousness. So, yes, it's a lot of misinformation out there. Yet, we have a foolproof system inside of us that helps us to overcome all that, and that's our spirit. The energy that we are, the consciousness that we are, that is given to us, we better learn how to trust that. Because in not trusting it, we get exactly what we see. Folks who ran and got that COVID shot because they thought that this was going to help them. And then they said, oh, that wasn't enough. Y'all need a booster shot. And they ran and got the booster shot. And you know what it's doing? It's killing folks. And then you ask yourself, why am I having to make decisions whereby it may cost me my life? Because we living in the time of the outpouring of knowledge. So since knowledge is being outpoured, and you have opportunity to do research and find out what's going on for yourself, when you decide to go with the mass and a whole mass died, you know what happened? You died with them. Why? Because you decided to be part of what? A mass that what? You didn't come here with. How did we get here? By yourself. Wasn't nobody there to hold your hand and say, hey, this is it? No, you made it to your mother's womb on your own accord. You chose the family you wanted to be in. You chose the time you wanted to be in. And you chose the body and the sex you wanted to be in before you got here. And we don't even have a clue about that. We choose the things that we suffer. We choose. We are the beings of choice. We choose whatever we want. We choose to destroy our bodies. We choose to destroy other folks. We choose to destroy our environment. We choose to create beauty. We choose to help feed the forest. We choose our choice. So then you ask, Well, everybody don't have that choice. Yes, everybody have the choice. The only difference between those who believe that they don't have a choice and those that make the choice is what they believe. When you understand that you are in this universe on your own to do what you come to do and express all that you can express as far as what this universe has put in you, hey, you're going to always come out smelling like a rose. But when you want to follow status quo, like we've been taught, you got to wear this to be fashionable. You got to look like this. You got to say this to be a professional. They give you all these rules. And what happens is that we, in our lack of understanding or our lack of wanting to dig for ourselves, because he that seeketh findeth. To him that seeks knowledge, knowledge is granted. And folks say, well, what if you don't know that? Oh, everybody knows. Because what's inside of us won't allow us not to. Then that means the universe is unjust, and the universe is just. It's just that we ignore it. We ignore the voice inside of us that say, hey, don't do that, go this way. Stop. You ain't got to do that. It's always there. And it's always the voice that tells us to do the very opposite of what we feeling at that moment, because we have not understood, getting back to our human beingness, what our emotions and our feelings represent for us. They represent tools that we're supposed to use to help guide ourselves through this plane. They're tools. Just like these fingers, these eyes, this nose. Our emotions and our feelings are tools too. Yet we have allowed our feelings and our emotions to be our masters. Not our tools. They master us, because everything is based on how they made you feel. For instance, you may say something to somebody that's not offensive to you, but they take offense in it. Why? Because offense already lives in them. Because if no offense lives in you, how can you take offense to anything? And where do offense come from? The thoughts that we choose to accept as reality in our world. We choose everything in our world. It's our world. Your world is the world that you create around you. So when you look at the world around you and you don't like it, who's to blame but you? You can't point out there and say, that cracker did this. That white boy got his hand all down. I don't care who have their hand down on you. What lives in you is the same thing that this universe is made out of. So who can hold that down but you? Nobody. Nobody can hold that at bay but you. I mean, you know, I think about Pops and how passionate he was about plants, man. I mean, this man loves some doggone plants. That's why he was always trying to stuff them in your mouth. Hey, eat this. Eat this. Try this. He was like, hey, man, hold up. I don't want to try everything you pick up out the ground. Man, eat it. And, I mean, you know, I would eat it. Because I was always willing to experiment with what's present. Hey, he told me about my sister who ate a poisonous mushroom. He said, hey, she ate that mushroom. It almost killed her. Sama. I said, damn. And I'm a mushroom enthusiast. So I'm like, what is this mushroom? So I went and got it, and I took a little piece, just a little piece of it, and I ate it. Why? I was saying in the middle of the night while I had a bucket in front of me while I was sitting on the toilet and had fluid coming out of both sides. I was saying to myself, why did you do that? Why? Yet I was not afraid to experience what that mushroom had to offer, but I just took a small piece. And I always tell people, say, man, I don't like mushrooms because they have some poisonous. Yes, they have poisonous everything. They got a root here. They call it they call that root. I'm gonna think of the name, but it looks just like the cassava root. But if you eat this root, it's gonna kill you. So again, knowledge. Animals teach their young what to eat and what not to eat. Don't eat that. Your great granddaddy ate that and died, so the whole tribe knows don't eat that. So then we get this inventory of things that we can sustain us and things that is adverse to us. What is the average person who lives in the city inventory? What does their inventory look like? What really do that look like? They inventory for dealing with life outside of themselves. It's made up of madness, man. Because their inventory says, first of all, in order to feel like you're a person, you have to go get you a job. And in order to get that job, you have to have a certain level of education. Things have changed. It used to not be that way. You could be uneducated and get a good job to make money, to sustain yourself. But then what do that say about you? That you are dependent on somebody else to help you get to what you need to sustain your life. I've been there. I worked most of my life working for other folks. And the whole time I was working for other folks, I was always knowing that, hey, I'm working my way right out of this. Why? Because we then put ourselves in a different position when we decide to put ourselves under anyone or anything. It says bow to nothing. Why would we bow? Just like I say, big cats read minds. They're animal, man. What's wrong with our senses? Why have we become so dull as an expression of the energy that we represent while we down here? Why are we so dull? We've been taught to be dull. We've been taught that that's only in movies, to superheroes, and we don't really understand what it is to be a true human being, man. All these things that we see, that we find so grandiose, we created all that. It was our creation. From the smallest to the biggest. Yes, Aja.
Have we gotten to point 4? What is point 4 to be human? Are we still on 3?
Yes,
And being in?
3.
Okay. So today was 3.
3, all 3. That's going to be a nice long chapters. Because we really do have to begin to understand the difference between us and that animal kingdom out there. Because we act worse than the animal kingdom, because when the animal come in this earth, they come in male and female just like us. And they know in their male and femaleness they come to reproduce. We get here and get confused. We supposed to be the highest vibrating animal on the planet. And then we get here and you're a male and then you get confused in your maleness and go, I don't think I should have came here as a male. I should have come as something else. I should have came as a female.
I think a good visualization is when you see the luminescent person sitting there, you know, with their legs crossed, and you see the chakra colors. You know, it sounds to me as if everything he said so far in the past couple of days really has a person rendered at the root level, or the root of chakra. Our humanness, really our root chakra. So we're on the red vibe. And then we know that we have the others that ascend, right? Until we get to be, you know, whole, create clearance, you know, through all of the spheres.
All levels.
You know, so it, you know, again, it sounds to me that we just been at the like you said, number 3 is animals, emotions. And that is our root level. That still has us, focused on sex, focused on self-pleasure, just the basics of who we are, the bottom level. So, ascension.
And that's what it's all about. Because how can you still want to waddle in the bottom level of yourself when you are in your 50s and 60s and you have nothing? I talked to a guy. He was 94 years old, man. I was living on Miami Beach. And I said, boy, you live 90. He was sitting out on the porch, and I went and sat out there. I said, man, you live 94 years on this planet, man. I said, man, what have you learned in your 94 years? Tell me something that I can use, that I can take back and add to my, little haberdashery of experiences. He said, I've learned that we're all the same. He said, my best friend right now is a black man. So I found out that we're all the same. And I looked at this dude, the first thought that came to my mind was that this dude lived his whole life racist all his life and get to 94 years just to find out that we all the same. That 94 years? That's a sad commentary. Even though he made it that far, his knowledge base was below that monkey in that jungle. Because he had just learned that, hey, I'm not better than them. We are all the same. That is the most basic lesson you learn when you're a child. And then we take that basic lesson and don't know what to do with it. Wow.
Hey, Maya.
Nobody tell me nothing. Okay.
That's okay. So, here we are. Being what? What are we being for real? Hey, y'all. We're going to continue this because I told you I'm writing a book. And I have to live this book out. So you guys are privy to hearing the book as it's being compiled.
It's like the comedian working the material out at the comic strip. And then they do a special. You be like, oh, okay, worked it, they put it together.
Okay, Instagram family, has been a pleasure. I always enjoy y'all. You guys get to see more of me now than y'all have ever seen because I've been letting y'all participate in my little USHA gatherings every day, every Tuesday and Thursday. So, hey, I appreciate you guys joining. So with that, peace.